All right, we're live. Howdy, everyone. Welcome, Steve.
Howdy.
How are you?
I'm fantastic.
Are
Got my
you
morning
looking
voice
forward?
on.
I know your morning voice is really radio-esque. It's fantastic.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Morning Zoo. Your host,
So
T.O.
it is the morning of Tuesday over there, and for day one of Prime Day. Well, not Prime Day, sorry, Prime Big Deal Day, and there's quite a few sort of ham radio deals, not ham radio deals, sort of half and half. And we've discovered some of the best bargains, and we're going to share them with you tonight. Or today. So we'll go through the ideas list here. Now, the links for these are in the description of the relevant streams.
And in the chat, they're pinned at the top.
They are pinned at the top of the chat, so you can check those out. And those links are affiliate links, and they help both myself and T.O.'s channels. So thank you very much if you choose to use those. So let's have a look.
And
at
they
some
don't
of these.
cost any extra on your side.
No, they don't. Not a cent more. Not a cent more. Now, the one thing that we do have to mention about these is that these are Prime member deals. So to be eligible for them, you have to have Amazon Prime. Now, I believe Amazon Prime, you can sign up for, I think it's for free for 30 days to try it out. So you can get access to these deals even if you're not a Prime member. So on the main page, there's some, there it is, join Prime today for deals. Here we go.
And don't forget to put a reminder in your calendar to cancel Prime after your 30 days, before your 30 days are up.
Yep. Unless you really, really enjoy it and you also want to watch the Amazon Prime video streaming as well, because that comes with it. So now, just also a disclaimer for some of my viewers, because I know that some people are coming in there from VK. So we've got Wayne, John, and a few others in there. I think Dan's also in Australia as well. These are all Amazon.com deals. These are US deals. So if you're looking for Amazon.com.au deals, Australia, then you'll have to go to Amazon.com.au and have a look for those. So so you could find if there's any matching deals on there as well. So this is the list, and there's quite a few specials that would go through this evening, and these are in sort of no particular order at all. The first thing that stands out, actually, that you brought up, T.O., backstage, was this one, this exit sign.
Yeah. Get out of my ham shack.
So the reason I have this is because for some reason these are very popular with those who use my Amazon affiliate link. I don't know who is buying them or what they're used for, but hey, if you want a cheap exit sign that's half price, 45% off, then you can get these in green, red, or black. So, pack of 4 as well.
Nice.
So, $63, but probably not sort of ham radio.
Well, see, you put those on all the entry doors to keep people out.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Actually, Mark's speaking about the exchange rate. Sorry. So if you are overseas, i.e. outside of America, then you can still potentially purchase some of these products, but you won't get the Prime deal, because you have to be a Prime US member as well. So it's just another thing. Amazon's a bit ridiculous like that with its whole regionalized stuff. You can't just buy one thing and it's you have to buy it from your local store. So, which is a bit annoying.
If only they were smart enough to automatically convert that.
Well, it would be good, wouldn't it? So there's exit signs. However, I did find the on-air sign. So I've got one over the back here. I had a flickering one which was a white one, but I've got, get my head out the way. But I've got one above my head, as you can see. Let me move my microphone.
Big head.
And I can actually, big head. So there's is it going to focus on it? There you go. So that's an on-air sign, and I think it's got USB. Has it got USB-C on it?
Better than any radio.
Yeah, yeah. Well,
Yeah,
actually, I don't know
yeah.
if mine's got USB-C or USB Mini. That's got a picture of USB-C.
Yeah.
But they are $16, so 20% off, which these are really cool. And as far as I understand, these don't give off any RF noise that I've noticed. They're only a little LED thing. They also run off batteries as well. But I haven't noticed any RF issues in the shack on HF. So they're cool. I did notice as well, if I go back here to some of the deals, and that's the one that I've got, but they do have a few other ones now. Some of these are like neon signs, so they might have more potential interference. But the one that I've got's on sale for $16, which is pretty damn cheap, really.
It's kind of amazing how cheap they can make stuff, and then you see other stuff that's still super expensive, and you're like, "How? What?"
Yep. So again, all the links are in the description and also in the pinned to the top of the chat if you want to check that out. So someone's asking about the Quancheng UVK5. That is on special as well. In fact, let's go and find that. It's in this list here somewhere. Here it is. So the UVK5, I've done a few videos on this radio, bit of hackable firmware. Been trying to get single sideband on this. A few people have been successful with it. So they are currently $24. So they're 20% off. Do you have one of these?
I don't have one of these yet. This is like the new hot radio right now. Everybody is using this. It's got a lot of features to it. This is what the Baofeng UV5R should have evolved into. They've got Baofeng's got the new UV17, and it has not. Nobody's done any hacking on it yet, so we haven't seen any of that.
No, I've got a UV17, which I need to get out of the box, which arrived the other day. But this radio is, and it's quite interesting because this is relatively clean as well. You can go back through and watch some of my videos on this radio, but it's not that bad for what you actually get, and you can open up the firmware to do all sorts of different stuff. I know that in one video you can see the little signal strength meter there. You can actually get a proper RSSI readout. You can get a proper signal strength meter. Some people have said that that'd be good for like fox hunting. So pretty versatile little radio. The AM could be better. That's not really all that flash. But for what you get...
So that one's got USB-C charging, and it looks like the USB-C plug goes into the side.
Yeah, it goes directly
not into the battery. And that's what you're using to do all the flashing?
Yes. And flashing in a browser as well. So there's the radio here. And, sorry, no. I'm not using USB-C. USB-C is purely for charging only. It's not for programming. So there's a USB-C port for charging, but I use the Baofeng 2-pin Kenwood programming cable for programming.
So close.
I know. If you go to there's a video on my channel called Custom Firmwares. If you go there, custom firmware for the Quancheng, you can load custom firmware directly from a web browser like Chrome. So which is pretty cool. Just looking through the chat. Hello to everyone who's joining. I put the on-air sign over my shack door. Works great. So get on those because they're very, very neat little signs.
I mean, I still think that you're getting every bit of $24 worth of radio for that UVK5.
I think so too.
It's not great. Don't mishear that. You're getting $25 worth of radio. You're getting probably more than what you're paying for.
AM is fixed in open firmware. Really? Is it better? Because I know that AM you can open it up. So because AM was limited to only the broadcast, the aircraft band, but you can actually open up AM on all bands now. And of course, you can do modified firmware so that it can receive from 18 megahertz right up to like 1300 megahertz. Receives in some areas better than others. But I wonder how much it's been fixed. Is it actually readable? Because it was kind of a bit tinny. Hey, Chrissy. So over on TO's channel, we
That's a new picture.
We are simulcasting on the Temporary Offline channel as well. So,
Chrissy, you look younger in that picture.
Just going through, the chat's rolling through, which is fantastic. So yeah, the Quansheng, that is available. Some of these other ones, the GT5. I did a video on the GT5. I think you've done a video on the GT5, the Baofeng.
Not yet. Soon.
You haven't?
No.
Okay. So the GT5 is basically a Baofeng UV5R. However, they guarantee that there is no spurious emissions, and I've gone and tested that radio and done a video on it, and it is indeed very much accurate. Pretty much everything else is exactly the same as a UV5R, but you can notice that the price is only $22, so it's pretty much the same price as a UV5R. These radios are not as open and hackable as the Quansheng that we just showed, so you're kind of a little bit limited there. They're also locked to 2 meters and 70 centimeters, so you can't use them on like GMRS or any other bands that you shouldn't be using them on. But yes, you can get the GT5R in a single unit for $21, sorry, 60, or a 6-pack, because everyone needs 6 of them, right?
Do ham radios have 5 local to them friends? All of my friends are long distance.
So if you buy the 6-pack, that's $20 a radio, and if you buy the single, it's $21. So you're saving like $6 or $7. So you definitely need to get the 6-pack.
Right, and you get that awesome 6-pack charging base.
Yeah, well, that's pretty sweet, isn't it? I was thinking that these would be good for like field days and stuff, and for emergency comms. Sort of grab and go, program them up using a chirp file, using a couple of repeaters or a couple of frequencies, and they're good to go.
Support chirp.
I'm trying to keep up.
Okay,
with the chat, but I can't.
I will support chirp. Thank you for making that part of your sales information. I think they meant supports chirp. This radio supports chirp.
Yeah.
Morning, Dave.
Again, all of these links are in the descriptions and in the live chat, and they're affiliate links, and they help us out. They don't change any of your pricing either. So get on it, get a deal. I noticed this popped up on the homepage actually, and I thought I'd add it because I know that these are pretty popular. The little Jackery portable units, and this one's $168 for a 240 watt hour. So what's that? That's like a 10 amp.
That's not bad. So here's the deal with this thing. You see how it's got the cigarette lighter plug in the upper right hand corner, the 12-volt socket. You can go on Amazon and you can go to your local gas station. I love gas station gear for ham radio, and get one of those cell phone charger things for your car that's got the USB-C port on it. And maybe if you get a good one, you might be able to do some research ahead of time. You plug that into this Jackery battery, and then you get the USB-C port. You can get a USB-C PD trigger cable to pull 12 volts out of the USB-C port. And with this this will probably power your QRP radio fantastically. I've done a couple of videos on that. I mean, this one might be better with this size battery. The one that I did was definitely for travel only. It was like just barely on the edge of being able to power the radio.
Item weight 6.8 pounds, so it's not very heavy, which is good.
No, not at all.
Now, how does that go if you're powering it over USB-C using that cigarette lighter plug? How does that go with noise? Did you notice any noise on HF using one of those?
I didn't notice any noise on HF. I wouldn't consider this better than a Bioenno, for example, better than a dedicated ham radio tested and proven 12-volt battery. But if you're going to get this thing because you want to power other stuff at your campsite or charge your laptop or whatever, get that, $5 trigger cable and the $2 gas station USB cell phone charger thingy, and have fun, see what it's about.
Well, there you go. Look at that.
It's ham radio experiment.
That image there, that actually gives you a sense of how small it is. I thought would be a bit bigger than that. So that's pretty tiny.
No, they're pretty small. The only thing I really don't like about these, and it's a minor complaint, is that handle on the top is molded into the plastic. So you can't sit anything on top of it, and you can't stack these things.
Yeah, sure. And then obviously you've got the ability to be able to power main stuff as well, using the built-in inverter into it too. So, like you said, if you want to do something else, limited to 200 watts, it looks like there though, because it's such a small battery. But 20% off, $168. I just saw that. So what's the other brand that do these? I think I had
EcoFlow does them.
Is it EcoFlow?
There's a couple of brands for these.
Pretty sure I had an EcoFlow in the ideas list. Yeah, I did. I had this one, which is in
$700.
Yeah,
but that's a big boy.
But this is a big boy. Yeah, 1,000 watt hours. So same or similar sort of thing. That's got the USB built into it. Look at that, 100.
Yeah, see, that's 100 watt USB-C. You could probably power a bigger radio with that too.
Yeah,
definitely charge your laptops.
Yep. I'm pretty sure that I had that on the ideas list as well. So, I mean, a little bit more pricier, but when you compare it to what the average list price has been, nearly $1,000.
It's climate pledge friendly. That's important.
Well,
this stuff always surprises me.
Especially with you, because you're at the moment, you're camping camping/RVing around, aren't you? So one of these is sort of essential for what the stuff that you're doing at the moment.
Oh, yeah, I've got a couple of things like this. The funny part is like they say climate pledge friendly. So, yes, this battery itself does not put out any harmful greenhouse gases. However, all of the processes that go into making this thing, the mining of the metals out of the ground is disgusting. The plastics that they make from, digging up fossil fuels is disgusting. But, the battery itself, once it's built, rock on.
But we want everyone to go out and buy one. Don't.
It's also gluten-free, vegan-approved, and kosher.
Have a look at this one, 3,600 watt hours.
It's probably not kosher.
Now that is a big one.
That's a beast. It's got wheels. That's how you know it's good.
I don't know how durable those wheels look, though. I mean, I guess that they are, but yeah.
It says for camping, it's got to be,
I wonder how much this is in. I wonder how much these are in Australian dollars, because I've seen the EcoFlow stuff on Amazon Australia, so I might need to look at not this big one, but maybe that smaller one might be cool for running the 7300. Maybe might be able to run it off that.
EcoFlow does make a portable battery-powered air conditioner too.
This one, really?
Those hot POTA days, yeah.
Yeah, wow. Yeah, cool. All right. Pretty sure that the Jackery store's probably got some other stuff. Yeah, they got solar panels and other stuff there too.
Well, you had a Jackery solar panel in your list.
Did I? That's probably a bit further down. Okay, and there's that big boy EcoFlow if you're interested in that. Ray says the additional battery is also on sale. We've got some other batteries as well, which I wanted to talk to T.O. about because he's reviewed a couple of batteries. Ray says the EcoFlow Delta 2 is awesome, great price. And Dan says the Jackery is $458 Australian. Okay, so it must be on sale as well down here. Because the conversion throws me off. I look at it and say, $167. That's pretty cheap, but then it's actually not so cheap. Kaiweets. This clamp meter here. So I've actually got that down here on the floor. I was doing some DC measurements. So the good thing about this clamp meter is that it does not just AC current, but it will do DC current. It's also a multimeter as well. I'm not sure if you've got one of these. Do you have one of these?
I don't have the clamp on one from Kaiweets yet. I have another one.
So this will do current. It'll do voltage because it's a multimeter as well. It'll do frequency up to so many hertz, continuity, resistance, temperature as well. But I like this for the DC current because I can just literally clamp this over the single positive or negative wire, and I can read the current, and it's pretty accurate. It's my power supply's got a current meter on it, and it's usually pretty close. So I like that clamp meter, and
yeah,
71.
So these are also really good.
$72.
Yeah, these are really good for when you're doing solar work because you can clamp it around one of the solar cables. You can't clamp it around both cables most of the time, especially if you're doing AC, because going forward and going backwards on AC will actually cancel it out. But if you are doing DC work, you can clamp it around both cables or one cable, and you can kind of get a feel as to where your power's going and if things are hooked up right. It's a fantastic diagnostic tool, the clamp on part, and you'll notice that you're missing it. I did a video on, I think it was either 3 ways or 4 ways to test out your solar panel to know that it was working, but there's a 5th way that I couldn't do because at the time I didn't have a clamp meter. Now I do. Adam coming in clutch. There are a variety of small 3S3 serial lithium polymer cells discounted. Adam, do you have a brand name for one of those? We can go look it up.
Well, I've just literally just typed it in here and I found
there you go.
Well, there's one. So that's the Ovionic 3S LiPo battery 50C. That's not the $11 one that he's talking about, but hey, let's chuck that on the list.
Yeah, Dean style.
You might need to refresh the list page to find this. And Adam says it's great for MTR's True SDX because these things are super lightweight, but they pack a real punch. But while we're waiting for Adam to give us a brand name, we'll go. Oh no, here we go. He's given it to us. So let's have a look for tattoo.
Really? Tattoo, nice.
Tattoo.
It's really early for Adam over there.
Prime Day deal, $13.80. It's a whole bunch of them.
750 milliamp hours. So 7.5 amp hours.
No,
nice.
That'll be 7,500 milliamp hours.
Okay, so it says, well, so here's the weird part. It says 850, the one I'm looking at, and then it says 75C, and then it says MAH under that. So is it 850 milliamp hours? I thought it said 750, but it says 75C.
Adam must have like business pricing or some sort of pricing deal going on because he says he's getting his at a different price. But
the prices are very regionalized. Yes, it really depends on a lot of factors with Amazon.
Even in the US, really.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So that's 750 milliamp hours. That's not. You're right. That's not. No. That's 0.75. 0.7. That's not one. It's not even 1 amp hour. But that's good enough for a QRP radio. That'll get you your 10 CW contacts.
It's okay. It's early.
Hey, good morning, Hayden.
It's
very early.
It's early. Yeah. Okay. So back to this clamp meter. Yes. So these are good for those DC voltages, DC currents. It's early over there and it's late over here, so it's a bad combination between the both of us. So
Lee says they're individual prices; they're not even regional. So you and I could be sitting next to each other and get different prices.
Really?
Because they know you're more likely to buy something than I am if it's a cheaper deal because you're a penny pitcher.
True. True.
Pincher.
Penny pincher. Okay. Now TID radio. We've done a couple of videos on the TID radio, and TID have said that they've fixed some issues in their latest Gen 2. That was as of, I think, about a month ago.
Yeah, and Abe tested them, and they're clean now, he says. I'm kind of shocked.
Well, the one that I had was clean as well. The first one wasn't that they sent, which they said was a bad batch, and then they sent a second one to both me and Abe, and they said that those ones are good. So, and they said that any ones that are sold from then on, I think that was like a month ago, would be shipped out to Amazon and would be fixed. So that's these ones. These ones come with two batteries. There's a couple of different ways you can buy one of these. I think the deal was like $59, but you only got one battery, so you literally get a second battery for $10. So you may as well get this one. So they're discounted by what's that, $20. And these do 10 watts as well. We put these on the RF power meter, and they do 10 watts. So
yeah. So these are great for like a little APRS digipeater or something along those lines.
Well, you were messing with Direwolf, weren't you?
Last night,
stream.
yeah.
Yeah, so you could.
We did finally get it working at the 11th hour. Yeah.
Did you?
Yeah.
Cool. Going back to those batteries, Adam says he gets 2 to 4 hours out of a 350 milliamp hour pack with the MTR. So yeah, good
nice
stuff.
Yeah.
So that's,
and the MTR is a CW only radio, so
yeah.
I'm not saying that in a bad way. I mean, it doesn't have a lot of extra features that would consume power, but when it does transmit, it transmits full signal. 5 watts. I mean, you guys know this. 5 watts of CW is better than 5 watts of SSB.
Yeah. Don, so they have said that if anyone has a bad unit, that they could send it back. I think you're right, though. They should have recalled it. I don't know what the logistics are for them to actually do that, but
they don't have a U.S. warehouse. I was talking to them about this, and I think, I don't know. There's a whole lot of money in there to make this stuff work. But I mean, the best thing you can do is return it to Amazon, and that's kind of the worst thing for them, because if they sell, I'm going to throw out stupid numbers. If they sell 10,000 radios and 8,000 of them are returned to Amazon, Amazon actually, comes down on them and says, hey, look, you guys, you put crap in our warehouse. You're making us look bad, which Amazon should. I mean, I appreciate that about Amazon, but that's bad for them. They could have set up a U.S. warehouse. I mean, like hired one of us, for example, and said, bring these radios in. There's potentially two problems. A, the customer is full of BS and doesn't know what they're talking about. The radio works fine. B, it's a bad battery. Slap a good battery on it, send it back to the customer. C, it's a good radio with a bad battery. Slap a good radio on it, keep the bad battery, send it back to the customer. And that would have gotten, happy customers and half of the Amazon problem gone. But there's not much they can do about it. That's just cost of doing business for them.
All we know is that the units that they have made from I think it was mid-September are clean, or that they're shipping out. So, and even just before then, I think because they said that they'd fixed the issue, and it took a little while for them to ship out those units to both of us. So, I added in this SD card. This it's not really on special, but it's like dirt cheap, $7, 32 gig. The reason for this in here is that it's a high endurance card for your All-Star nodes. So, or any sort of maybe Raspberry Pi, or anything that you're using for your ham radio experiments. The high endurance cards are a lot better because they have a lot more writes available on them. They're meant for security out and dash cams and stuff like that. So they're less likely to wear out. If you can get 32 gig cards, usually you only need 4 or maybe a maximum of 8. If you get 32 or 64, and there's not a lot of price difference between the two, you have a lot more room on the card for your write. So it's less likely that it's going to write to the same spot over and over and over again. So that's sitting in there for that. Now, we spoke about the Quanchang earlier on. This radio is probably better, at least for the AM reception. And I know that someone actually bought this as a cheap AM radio receiver because they actually work at an airport, and they wanted to listen to the aircraft, but they didn't want to use their expensive Icon, which costs $500 in their pocket. So they bought one of these for 40 odd bucks. $60. It's $48 now. And it's pretty good. It receives AM not too bad. It's not like we mentioned before. It's a $48 radio. You're not going to get like the best, highest quality, and even AM at the best of times is hard to understand. So
this radio, it can be unlocked to work on multiple frequencies, and even frequencies that GMRS and ham are not allowed to transmit on, like public safety type stuff. It's very dirty on non-GMRS frequencies.
Yes. Yeah, that's a very good point. If you're going to also use this to transmit, then GMRS, it works fine. And I think this radio's also got FCC certification for GMRS as well. So, get this as a GMRS radio, not a radio to transmit on ham radio.
Right.
But you can also obviously, you can use it as a receiver as well. It's got a pretty good menu system as well, very similar to the UV17 that I received the other day too. And the radio.
It doesn't have the Baofeng lady in it.
No, it doesn't. No. You're right.
Frequency mode.
It has a different Baofeng lady. No, it doesn't. It has a Baofeng man.
Yeah.
And it's not even a Baofeng man. It's a British Baofeng man.
So Lee has an interesting point. He says if GMRS is clean, 70 centimeters is probably clean. So I will caveat that. If you look at the specs, the specs for 70 centimeter ham radio don't exist. There aren't any as far as spurious emissions goes. For 2 meter ham radio, they're relatively understandable. It's got to be so many dB down from the primary frequency and below so many milliwatts as well. So like it's got 2 tests it needs to pass in order to be good on 2 meters. On GMRS, it's got like 30 tests it needs to pass, and it's logarithmic math, and it's like, I don't know how to do this,
So I can confirm that it is clean on 70. I'm pretty sure that in my video for the talk pod that I showed it as being clean. So yeah, UHF and above, sorry. Yep.
But clean is an interesting thing because there is no definition of what dirty is. So yeah. I mean, like we accept it as clean for our 2 meter test, but that's not the FCC's requirement. I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm agreeing with you harder.
Don't agree with me so much. Actually, this is interesting. It comes with 2 batteries, a 3200 milliamp hour and a 1500 milliamp hour. So it actually comes with the larger battery too. So
you can ride dirty for longer. Nice.
Exactly. I don't think I've ever had to charge this. I've used it a few times, and I don't think I've ever had to charge the radio with the standard battery. So it's a bit like a Baofeng. The Baofeng batteries last forever. So,
I finally had one go bad. It's a radio that I got when I became a ham. Initially, it's like one of the first radios that I got, and I think it finally discharged itself in storage after like 3 years.
Yeah. Cool. Okay, so that's the talk pod. Scrolling down. So nano VNAs and tiny SAs are also on special. So I've got do I have it there? I don't. It's not listed there. It might be further down. I've got the Ultra, the Tiny SA Ultra, which is the one that goes up to 5 gigahertz. So that one's a little bit more expensive. I'm pretty sure I've got it listed. Yeah, here it is. There. So that's $207 or $208. I did a stream with Ape a little while ago, and I think we pretty much agreed that if you're going to go and invest in a Tiny SA, then get this one because it's just much better. It's got a lot more features in it. It goes all the way again up to the Ultra. I mean, it's more expensive. It's like 4 times the price, but it's worth it. So, a larger screen as well. You've got the smaller ones. I think they all interface to the computer. So they're on special. Let me just go back up. There we go. And also the nano VNAs. You got the H4, same as me, I think, don't you?
No, I don't have the H4. I have the 2 small ones. And I have a kit that I put together that has all the stuff in them for your nano VNA and your tiny SA. I've got a video on my channel about that. So I'm kind of hesitant for me to get the bigger one. The 2 smaller units combined are very portable. And so I'll put my old man glasses on and
Which is this
You
one,
know,
yeah? No,
Sally
sorry, wrong
Forth.
one.
Yeah, it's that one.
No, that was
The
the
normal
tiny SA.
size. Yeah,
That
but
one.
it's the Nano VNA in that size. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. So, yeah. 40,
Hang on a
40
second.
$44.
Don is saying hi to Ferris in the chat. Is that Ferris from TalkPod? I don't see the comment from Ferris.
I don't
Or is
see
he
it.
making fun of Ferris Bueller's Day Off? What are you talking about, Don?
I don't see anything in the chat either. Again, let's remind everyone that if you're looking for this list or these lists, then they are pinned in the chat, and also for those watching later on in the description and also the comments below.
Yeah, Don has a really good point. The Nano VNA and Tiny SA, that flavor of stuff is highly cloned, and a lot of the clones are bad. I have a bad Nano VNA, so he's right. Get it from RNL or on Amazon. I use Rzinc. This, you can see the blue text, AURSINC. They're a good retailer to get those from.
Yeah, I agree. Rsync are the good ones. So
Okay.
And all the ones in the in the ideas list are all Rsync. Sorry, in the Amazon store are Rsync. Now, I've just put this here, not that I endorse this one, only so that I would remember. This is a 100 amp hour eco-worthy LiPo 4. Now, do you have one of these? Do you have the eco-worthy one?
I don't have that one. That looks a lot like the Miati, like the shape, the colors, and everything are a lot like the Miati battery. And they were talking earlier about deals being regional. This is not a prime deal for me. The 20 amp hour is a prime deal for me, but not the 100 amp hour.
Okay. Let me just bring up.
I mean, it is for you.
Down.
Yeah, I was like, why'd you shut it down? What are you hiding?
Yeah, no, I'm not hiding anything.
Jason's asking if I have a link to Hayden's store. It is pinned at the top of the chat.
Yep.
And it's pinned at the top of the chat on his stream, and I think he just dropped it in the chat for you there.
Yep.
And then mine is pinned at the top of the chat on my stream.
Yep. And they should have the same things in them as well. So
they're fairly close, but like I said, this battery is not on Prime Day for me.
So, okay. So if I go to LiPo, so this is LiPo 4 searching under the Prime deal days. Now, I know that you've had the, what is it, Renology? Renology? Renogy?
Renogy makes good solar panels.
But I didn't find that one in the deal days. Here's a 10 amp hour one. These will be good for running a 705 for like ages and ages and ages.
Oh, Red Audio, yeah, I've got that
Red
one too.
Audio, that's it. That's the one I was thinking of. They didn't have any of those.
Yeah, but real quick, let me share out my screen and I'll show you what I'm talking about. Present, share, window.
We are crossing streams.
So this is my search, that same search that you did. So I searched for LifePo 4 generically.
Yep.
This Dr. Prepare is pretty good. Dr. Prepare makes a better LifePo 4 battery that actually has Anderson power poles built into the battery itself, which is fantastic. But then as I scroll down here, there's that Red Audio, which is a good battery. And
which is on special, but it's not an Amazon deal like for today, but it's 21% off.
So for you, yeah, okay, 20% off. That's same for me. But here's those two eco-worthies. This is that 100 amp hour that you're talking about. It's not on Prime for me. And
Different
then I've
seller?
got that 20 amp hour. I don't know. I mean, I'm still looking for it. If I just search for eco-worthy, for example. Same thing. There's 10 amp hour.
Okay. Well, see, this is why you use our links in the description, because you'll get the. What happens if you do? If you go to my link in the description and you open that up, does it give you that price?
Paste that link in the private chat for me, since it's on your screen.
As in
StreamYard. Private.
As in the store. Okay, there you go. Lee says he sees the 100 amp hour on my list.
Yeah. Interesting. I see it on your list.
but not on yours.
It's not on my search results. So let me put that in directly on mine. Yeah. Wow.
Okay.
$269.49 on mine, and you got it at $215.99 on yours. So if I go to Hayden's link and I click through Hayden's link, I get the Prime Day deal. If I copy that URL from Hayden's link and paste it into a new browser, I don't get that Prime Day deal anymore.
That's weird.
Yeah, wow.
Open up the link directly through
So
through my store.
Let me
like
get that
on stream. Yeah.
Yeah, let me get it in that right tab. Grab this.
Maybe it's got something to do with business.
Could be. So this is Hayden's store, if you're still sharing my screen. Oh, nope.
Yep.
Weird. Oh, interesting. So in Chrome, I get Hayden's deal, and in Firefox, I don't get Hayden's deal. Wow, sneaky little rascals.
Just keep opening browsers until you find it.
Right. Wow.
There's another one.
Bad.
That foldable tactical SMA antenna. That's also a deal, and we'll get to that one as well in a minute. But you're not seeing that.
Not for me. Not in this browser. Interesting.
Weird.
Anyway, yeah.
Weird.
So not all deals apply to all people. Wow.
All right. Fair enough.
Nothing we can do about it.
No. Amazon. What can we say? So this is the next one on the list is the TID radio. This is the same thing except for GMRS because this one is supposedly comes locked to GMRS. If you get them, you can unlock these as well through a series of button presses, which we found out. But yeah, if you want it just for GMRS, then it's what's that, same price? Except this one doesn't have the extra batteries. This is just a single battery and single unit, so $56. Like for an extra $10, you can get the extra battery. There you go. Tactical
Dave,
antenna.
I don't miss the frost at all.
Tactical antenna, $19.19, and you had it for $23.
Yeah.
So these are basically what were these called? The PCB antennas, the Abri antennas.
Abri, yeah.
Abri. Now this one's the 42-inch one. That's a massively long antenna. I probably wouldn't recommend getting the.
Well, so here's the funny part. It is massively long, but it does actually work massively better. So I take this with my Yaesu FT818 radio, and I would use this for trying 2-meter SOTA activations.
Hold on. That's $19 for two of them. That's a dual pack. So that's a 2-pack, and
they're SMA,
and it's $15 for one. So if you get two, then you can break one, and you'll be good to go. But yeah, they do work a lot better, but they do look a bit silly on the top of your Baofeng. 42-inch antenna, but they're definitely a brie. But Bing Fu. We talked about the Quansheng. There's a Raspberry Pi 4 kit here, which is a starter kit. So obviously the Pis are still relatively expensive. The Pi 4s are expensive, but at least with this one, you're getting like all of the accessories as well. So for $128, which is still rather expensive for a Pi, but you kind of get everything in it. So added that in there because I've gotten myself a couple of Pis recently. This green screen, so I've got one of these which I use to key myself out. This is on a stand, and you just pull it up. So that's pretty cool if you're interested in doing any sort of YouTube stuff. I just sort of throw that in there. Here's that Jackery solar panel you were talking about earlier.
Yeah.
So that's a foldable unit for $200. And that'll work with those little charging batteries, battery inverters as well. Have you got one of these?
I don't have the Jackery version, no, but I've got a ton of solar panels.
Yeah. So that's in there too. Let us know in the chat what you're planning on buying out of all of these. And
Or any deals that we might have missed.
Yes, definitely any deals that we missed. I've got a pair of these crimpers for Anderson power pole connectors. I purchased these last year, and these are fantastic.
We're at the point now where it's hard to mess up on crimpers.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
I mean, so the clone or the cheap versions are just as good because it's hard to mess up on them.
So these will do the different sizes. They'll do the 15, 30, and 45 amp connectors. So $22 for a pair of crimpers, and then you can go ahead and get yourself a big pack, 96 pack of all of the the different sizes. So that's their $17.60. Camping and ham radio. I'm tempted by the EcoFlow River 2 Pro.
Yeah, and that's a prime deal for me over here.
Do we need to
add it to the list? Yeah,
we need to add it to the list so that Camping and Ham Radio can snaffle that. One of these.
Did you say snaffle?
Is that not a word you use? Snaffle?
It's not a word. It's not a word in English in America. No. Snaffle. Snapple is a drink. Snuffle is something you do with your nose.
Snaffle it means grab it before anyone else does.
I grokked it. Yeah.
So
I got the concept.
That's been added to the list, Camping and Ham Radio. So if you want to refresh that page, then it's on there. If you're
funny.
Tempted.
Craig is saying Wirefly shrink tube is prime, and it's really funny. Like I think of some of these deals, and I'm like, why is shrink tube a prime deal? I mean, I'll take it. Don't get me wrong, but like, what are they thinking? Snafu. That's right. Situation normal. All effed up.
So what are we looking at now? Heat shrink.
Wirefly shrink tube. Yeah.
Oh, look at that.
There it is. $11.99. All the shrink tube you could want.
Hang on a minute. Is this glue lined though? 3-to-1. 3-to-1 shrink. I mean, that's dirt cheap for what you're getting in there. 180 piece.
Yeah.
Yep. Add that to the list.
And not a prime deal for me. Interesting. Craig gets it and Hayden gets it, but I don't get it.
You need the glue line stuff. How come none of this is glue lined? So glue lined offers a much better seal, especially for keeping water out. But it might. So
how much was yours?
Description.
How much was the one you found?
Oh, like $14 or something. Hang on, let me go back.
So mine is $13.71. No Prime Day deal.
There, $11.99.
That's not bad.
That's just for the black. But if you want the mixed color, red and black, then it's $11.19.
Yeah,
that's 4-to-1. That's different. That's 190
weird.
pieces.
It's very weird.
You can never have enough heat shrink.
It says glue lined in the title is. Somebody was saying that. Yeah, Alex.
Adhesive lined. Okay.
Yep. There you
Sweet. Go. I just clicked on the 5. So I've just gone. Oh, it's a different link. That's why I've gone 500 pieces as well. Anyway, you can find that. That's cool. Lee says he's already got that heat shrink. Definitely getting the Quansheng radio. Maybe something with the affiliate program causing your price differences. It's not supposed to.
It might be something because I'm actually not a Prime member. I'm one of those rebels.
You've got business as well. So maybe that's what it is.
Yeah, so for me, Prime, the only benefit I would get on Prime is the TV, and I don't watch the Prime TV. If you put more than, I think it's $35 in your cart, you get free shipping anyway. And the 2-day shipping is only for items that they have in the warehouse that's near you. It's not 2-day shipping on everything.
No. But if you're buying something that's under $35, then you get it for free shipping on Prime anyway. So
yeah. And even weirder is if I buy something that's over $35 today, I get free shipping, and then they're like, oh, for the next 24 hours, if you forgot something, you get free shipping too on anything. So then I can go back and buy more stuff if I forgot.
Yeah. So the MMDVM board, you can get one of these. These are on sale, 34% off, $38. We've still got to do a stream on this and set this up.
Whenever you get ready to stream again, I'm
exactly.
waiting.
I'm streaming right now, aren't I? So, what's this? Included components. You get a VHS? What, a VHS player?
Nice. No, you get a VHS tape with instructions on how, like video instructions on how to use it. That's okay. I'm sure most hams have like 4 VHS players.
Yeah. So yeah, you can get the MMDVM board for your digital modes. Now, I haven't done a video on this, but I do have one behind me.
Thing right there. That's it.
I have a Kaiweets soldering station. Now, I did a video on my Kenwood, the fix of my Kenwood remote, Kenwood TMD 710 remote head, and was using very, very small components. And I did use this magnifying glass on the top of this this soldering station. It worked. It's probably not the best thing in the world. It does come with these clips so that you can hold PCBs and do all sorts of stuff and have hands-free things. It is pretty cool that it's temperature controlled. So not a bad soldering iron. It comes with all these different tips as well. I've got it sitting on the bench behind me, as I mentioned, and I haven't done a video on it, but I've used it a few times, and it's pretty good. But the magnifying, don't expect anything massively great out of that. But they're on special as well, $38.
Brad has 3 VHS and 1 SVHS.
SVHS. For some reason, I've got another clamp meter in there, and I'm not quite sure why. I think that might have been from last year's deals, but anyway, that's on special too. A lot of people ask me what microphone I use, and I use this one, the Shure MV7. For some reason, it's always cheaper in silver, so it's $199. The difference with this mic compared to some others is that it has... Is there a photo?
It's huge.
No, it's not huge. It's small.
I see it right there. Hayden for scale.
Where is a photo of the back of it? There isn't one. Oh, here.
There it is.
It's got USB, but it's also got XLR. So what I do is I use 2 outputs out of this, and they're both simultaneous as well. So nice. I go into the computer with USB, and then I go into the radio with XLR. And I've got a video on my channel about how I do that. I need to change some things on how I do that, but it does work. And I've got that hooked up to the 7300, and in some of my streams you can see.
Oh, it's mini USB. Don with the eagle eyes.
Yep, it is mini USB because it's a couple of years old, and it really annoys me a little bit. I wish that they would change it to USB-C because the cable that's provided with it is a little bit flimsy. They provide 2 cables. They provide a USB mini to USB-A, and they also provide a USB mini to USB-C cable. So, and then look, even in that photo, can you see? See the bend on the connector?
Yeah.
But that's the microphone I use, and you can hear what it sounds like right now. Never mind the voice.
Right.
Your voice will sound better than mine. And the black one, which is not on special. So power supplies.
So in the chat, All Things Radio is asking about a shortwave receiver. So I dropped one in the private chat for you to share.
Yes, I did see some of those. Let's have a look.
There you go.
That is not the one that I saw, but that'll be good. What's the coverage on this? 64 to 108 megahertz FM, shortwave 1711 to 30 megahertz, so you can listen to all of HF. Long wave 153 to 513, and medium wave as well. Does it do single sideband?
If you wanted to listen to 514 to 519, you're out of luck. Yeah, single sideband's kind of important on these things.
AM, FM, SW, LW doesn't quite tell me if it's...
Yeah, I don't see a mode button.
because it could just be AM only. Tuner technology, FM, AM. Yeah, there is no mention of SSB because you kind of need SSB. Well, that's old school. Look at that. Cool little
nice. Dial. I like that.
But yeah, for that, you probably want to be looking for SSB for sure. Here we go. Here's a handheld unit that says SSB written on it. SDR you might want. You could probably get away with an SDR. So there's a few there. You have to sort of go through them and check what would suit your needs. Power supplies, we'll get back to that. So this is a 50 amp power supply, which I just saw because it was 50 amps and $127. Not sure if anyone else has got one of these.
Don't have that one. That's a switching power supply by the size of it. SPS by the name of it is switching power supply.
Yep.
I haven't had any problems with switching power supplies. People say some of them are noisy. Some of them have that noise dial where you can dial out the noise. You can move it.
Noise offset.
Yep, you've got that too. But I've never had to use it.
I'm the only power supplies I think that you'll have problems with is if you're using like a PC power supply or something dodgy like that. These are obviously marketed towards radios as well, so I think that they're relatively pretty clean. I've got a switching power supply on the floor here as well, which is 40 amp, and it's the same thing too. I don't notice anything with it. It's runs pretty well. No noise on HF.
Yeah, Jason, I think they are doing Prime Day twice a year now, because usually this is in the spring, in April, isn't it?
Yep. No, July. July's the other one. Yep.
Okay.
Some Redivus radios there. Other stuff like a programming cable.
Brad's asking about audio mixers for StreamYard or OBS and wants to know what we're using. I am not using an audio mixer. I find that they're way more complex than I need them to be. All I want to do is take two audio sources and combine them into one, and then be able to like turn them on and off. That's it. And you wind up with all these extra features. I had a Scarlett Focusrite, and it didn't do the thing that I wanted to do. Like, you go into the control panel, and it's almost impossible to figure out how to do the audio routing. Like, I don't know why and that's even just a USB audio interface. It's interesting how difficult it is to do that. What are you using?
I don't use a mixer either. So if I want to do any sort of audio mixing, I use what's that software called?
Voicemeeter Banana?
Yeah, that's it. And then that way I can combine a hardware input with a software input, because I've got a software input through the Stream Deck, which I use occasionally. But for I don't run any other mixers or anything like that. I'd probably use something small if I was to do that, but I haven't gone down that route. Jason, Voicemeeter in Windows works great. Yep.
This isn't Prime Day. This is Prime Big Deals Day.
Yeah, it's not Prime Day.
We misspoke. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to mislead you guys with the wrong name of the sale. Somebody was asking about SDRs earlier today that are better than the RTL SDR.
So Ham Radio Hobby said the RSP1A
Sleep well,
is like
Chrissy.
$20 off. So there's an SDR from 1 kilohertz to 2 gigs. So that's on special as well. I haven't used one of these, so I'm just going off Ham Radio Hobbies.
That looks like a clone.
It does.
Oh, you were asking about SDR, Jason Jenkins.
Let's add that in there anyway, so you can look a little bit more closely. This as well, I've done a video on this, the GD88 DMR handheld. So this is 20% off as well, $175 from Radio Oddity.
Yeah, there's a lot to like about this radio. The most important thing about it is, well, there's two. The most important thing is that it's full duplex. So you can do satellite work with this thing. It's also DMR, and then it does this cross-band, cross-mode repeat. So I could actually, I don't know why I personally would want to do this, but like if you're with a group of friends, you can use this radio and make all of their cheap little $20 Baofangs into DMR radios by going through this.
So there is a lot to like, but then also there's a little bit to dislike as well. And I've done that. I've covered it off in the video.
That's kind of true of every radio.
Well, yeah. I mean, one of the things that you have to be careful with this radio, with the crossband repeat, and this is a test that I try to do with the radios that have full duplex and crossband repeat, is that when you're transmitting from one band to another, you need to measure if there's any desensitization. So what I mean is that can the radio still receive when it's transmitting at the same time, but on a different band? Because what I found is that when you transmitted, and I'm going off memory, you'll have to go back and watch the video. When you transmit on 2 meters, you get desensitization when you're trying to receive a signal on 70 centimeters. And that's a problem with satellites, because if you're trying to talk, if you're talking and you want to hear yourself on the downlink, then you may not hear yourself on the downlink if the satellite's not, super strong. It'll still work perfectly fine when if you're just using it to work satellites. That's fine, because when you stop transmitting, you'll hear the other station calling you, but you might get a little bit frustrated with the crossband repeat. But testing between the cross modes is pretty good, and that works really well.
Yeah. So Brian's saying that's the best radio out right now. If he could keep only one, that would be it. And then Lee is asking, is there an equivalent Anytone? There is not an equivalent Anytone to this. There's an equivalent, I want to say Redivis makes this radio also. And then this radio is made by a company, not Redivis or Radioddity anyway. It's made by a company, the name starts with a K. I can't remember what it is.
And it's not Quancheng. Oh, no, that's not
No,
K,
it starts with a Q.
It's 11:30 p.m. at night. What do you expect from me?
It's 7:30 a.m. in the morning. What do you expect from me?
Well,
been at it for an hour already.
Okay, so there's that GD88, but then there's also this, and I want to call this a budget DMR handheld, which
this is an Anytone clone.
So this I've heard is a lot easier to program and a lot easier to use than the GD88.
Yeah, I like this one.
Yeah. Okay. So I probably need to get myself one of these. So these are $135, so they're cheaper. Does it do 10 watts? Do you know?
I don't remember. I'd have to go back and look. I don't have this specific one. I had the BTEC DMR 6X2, and I recently sold that to a Toads member. If you're not on the Toads Discord, there's a link in the description to the video. We hang out all day and chat about stuff like this anyway. Yep. But this is a clone of the Anytone. You can see the Anytone and the BTEC DMRs. If you scroll down to the other, at the bottom of the page where it shows you the other models right there, you can see the Anytone and the 6x2 Pro, and they look exactly the same. The sun's coming up over here.
Lots of clones.
Kaidera is the name. Bryant's got it. Thank you, Bryant. I was drawing a blank.
And just I guess some of these last deals that we found were the Kaiweets. I think this is the 601 multimeter, the budget multimeter for $38. So done videos on that, and also another analog radio, the GA510. This is a 10-watt analog FM radio for $44. So yeah, they're the prime big day deals that we found. Is there anything else that we've missed that you can think of, T.O., or in the chat? Or
I'm thinking I need Craig mentioned a Raspberry Pi 3, and we shared a Pi 3 link and a Pi 4 link, and then the MMDVM touchscreen 7 to 10 inches. The Pi 3 is still fantastic for 99% of the ham radio apps that are out there. The 7-inch official Raspberry Pi touchscreen is too small for WSJTX. The screen resolution, like most of your control buttons, are off the bottom of the screen, and it's very difficult to get them back on the screen. But a 10-inch screen with 720p or greater resolution ought to do pretty good. Usually the 7-inch is like 800 by 480 or something like that. It's not big enough.
So a couple have been speaking about batteries. We did speak of those earlier on in the stream. So there are some LiPo 4 batteries which are listed on the list in the chat and also in the description if you want to check those
James
out.
Jenner with the newborn. Congrats, James. I haven't seen you in a while. Maybe that's why.
Where's that in the chat? I can't see that in the chat.
It's his avatar. It's got a picture
really?
of somebody in a uniform holding a newborn.
Congratulations.
And then Jason Jenkins is asking about the Pi 5. The Pi 5 isn't supposed to be on sale until October 23rd. So, camp outside of Micro Center October 22nd. So you're first in the door.
Yeah, I think I need to pre-order one of those. So I don't know what I'd use it for. I've got that many Pis. It's ridiculous. So
Yeah.
I think. Okay, so the other thing is just random Prime Day deals. Just put in ham radio, and it's just most of this stuff is what we've already covered. It's almost all exclusively Baofeng radios, but we sort of gave the reasons why you should get the other units that we specified earlier. So
Well, you've got that GS 510, I think is what it was, the Radiodity 10 watt in your Prime Day list.
GA 510.
GA 510.
That one, yeah.
Would you buy any of those batteries? Craig's asking. Craig, I have used the Red Audio battery. I would buy that again. I have the Dr. Prepare. I would buy that one again. The Dr. Prepare is the one that has the power poles built into it. If you get the little module that snaps in, the one that's on Prime today is not that battery. But I've had good luck with that Red Audio. I've put over 1,000 contacts through it.
Radio Oddity have a GMRS mobile DB25 for $86. I have a Redivus radio. I think that I need to. I think it's an RT95. Yeah, RT95 that I've got to go through at some point too soon. It looks similar to this.
So we got two things that just came up in the chat here.
Super antenna.
And the super antenna, if it's the one I think it is, it's the knockoff of the, I don't know who came up with it first, the knockoff of the Buddy Pole or the JPC from Chelegance.
The super antenna. It does look like a knockoff of a Buddy Pole, doesn't it? The Buddy Stick, you mean?
Yeah. Comes with a ton of accessories.
Yeah. I mean, I've never used one of these. I don't think you haven't used one of these before. So
yeah, Wayne, thank you very much for the $7.99 Aussie dollar redo super chat too.
Yeah, thank you very much, Wayne. If you're in Australia, and I'll just divert off of this for a minute. I mean, look, it does look like it comes with a whole heap of stuff. It might be worth experimenting with something else. And I did a video on this recently, especially for HF, Mad Dog Coils.
Yeah, I like this guy.
So this is similar. He sells coils for down to 80 meters. So there's an 80-meter coil and a 40-meter coil, but you can basically tune any HF band between 80 and 10 meters. And you can get some telescopic whips and stuff. And there's all this information on his website, which I'll post in the chat. And that might be a little bit cheaper, $120 to have a bit of a play around, rather than forking out, what was it, $700?
$740 Aussie dollars dues.
Yeah. So,
600 US with a $50 coupon.
Yeah. So check that out. But Sean does. Oh, sorry, Teo and I are fighting for the comments at the moment. Sean says super antenna works great though.
Quality
And then
product.
Craig
Awesome.
says,
That's
"Don't
good
buy
to hear.
super antenna. It's a scam."
just in case you wanted every opinion you could get. Yeah. So I was looking at this thing from Don. Don's looking for a GPS dongle that is puck style. What do you see?
A GPS dongle. So I'm imagining something that outputs GPS data. Is that what?
Like that first one. That very go up to the top. See that
Like-
first picture of VK162? Something that looks like that, I think is what he's talking about, as opposed to the
Okay.
little white USB thing. So he wants
Yeah,
the
okay.
external antenna.
So I've got one of these with the external antenna, but with an SMA on the end. So this obviously has the receiver inside the antenna, and then there it is, and chucks all of the info down the cable. So I don't have that one, but I'll put it in there for you, Don, anyway, so you can have a look. I have just purchased from QRP Labs.
Mm-hmm.
There it is. The QLG2. And this is $23. This comes with an external antenna, and it comes with this PCB with everything mounted on it. The only thing that's not mounted on it is a USB connector and an SMA connector for your antenna. And you have all of these pinouts. You can get the NEMA data. You can get the 1 pulse per second. You can get the serial all over USB by just plugging
Nice.
straight in. You don't have to install any drivers. It just appears as a COM port on your computer, and it just works.
Nice.
These do GNSS, which is the combination of GPS in the US, the Galileo, and the Russian one and the Chinese one. The only problem is that changes the NEMA strings. So what I had to do is go in and disable the other one. So I just got the US GPS. But that's all possible. You can do all of that, and it's all on QRP Labs. But like $23 for one. Some of the stuff on QRP Labs is ridiculously cheap. Like, it's fantastic what Hans offers. And Hans was at Hamvention. I didn't get to catch up with him, unfortunately.
Yeah. Hans is good people. It's a good thing, though, because if you did, you'd be talking to him for about 2.5, 3 hours.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. So yeah, I would recommend one of those.
And then Craig is saying he's thinking he needs a 50 amp hour battery for his 991A. Craig, I guess it depends on what your mission is. A 20 amp hour battery will get you a 10 contacts, parks on the air activation, no problem, at 100 watts. But 50 amps gives you some breathing room. 100 amps gives you even more breathing room.
I guess it all depends on how long you're going to be operating for, doesn't it?
Yeah. So I mean, got to kind of work your way backwards from the mission.
I'd recommend get a LiPo 4 battery as well, not a lead acid battery, because of weight and also for the capacity.
Half the weight, twice the power.
Yeah, it's a no-brainer. Thank you, Jason, for the $2 super chat.
Woo-hoo.
Love you guys. Need to watch more. Keep up the good work. We are trying fervently to have a look in both of our calendars when we are both available to do some more streaming, because this is a lot of fun, isn't it, T.O.?
It is. I love it.
So Jason bought that dongle, so cool.
Works great.
Don, no, I want an all-in-one unit. Okay.
Yeah, he for the GPS, he needs one with the cable to get the antenna out the window, and then he needs an all-in-one unit.
So does that one with the USB suffice? This one
that Jason says works well. Yeah.
Yeah. So there you go.
Is eco worthy? It depends on what your definition of eco is. Do they use things from the ecology? Yes, they do.
Hey, Rob. Lee says, is pulse per second useful for hams? Yes, it is. I use pulse per second to discipline a frequency reference. So
for your 9700, right?
No, so that's different. Not for the 9700. For my repeater voting units, they discipline a 9.6 megahertz reference to 1 pulse per second.
Yeah, Leah's saying that VK162 is good. So that's 2 votes for the 162.
Yep. Craig is eco worthy. I think yes.
Yes.
Colin and VK, is the antenna with the kit you bought the same as an ICOM UX241 external GNSS antenna? No, I have no idea because I don't know what that ICOM external GNSS antenna is. QRP Labs also, they ship internationally and it's very, very competitive pricing too on the shipping. So Hans, he shipped off my stuff, I think, yesterday. So should be here pretty soon. The geekiest guy has us covered. Hit a big like on the video if this was helpful. Rob says that he has a couple of these GPS units. They are magnetic as well. I'm pretty sure I added that to the list, didn't I?
You did. Yep.
So do they spit out all of the data over USB, right?
Yes.
I think it's here at the top. Yep. Interesting. But Don says they don't do 1 pulse per second. But that's okay. You might not need these are good for. These are also good for your clock on your computer when you're away from the internet. If you're doing digital modes, you can synchronize your clock.
And zero HR. Maybe it's just me, but I've noticed as the stream goes on, Tio gets more awake and Hayden gets more drowsy.
No, it's not just you. It's not just you.
It's the caffeine over here. Yeah.
Yeah, Don. Yeah, 1 pulse. Yeah, 10 megahertz reference GPSDO. Yeah. That's how they do it in the 905. What was I saying? But yes, you can use this for doing your timing on for WSJTX if you're away from the internet.
These two fellas are real hams who do radio and then do YouTube. That's right. I mean, I got to do the radio first, so when I'm talking about what I did on radio on YouTube, it makes sense.
Well, I mean, like some people, I get messages sometimes and comments saying that I don't really do radio, but I mean, just have a look at what's in the background here at the moment. There is all sorts of stuff there going on.
Yeah, you've got a station monitor. You've got a 10-meter repeater system that you're working on. You've got a voting system that you're trying to plug into it. You've got an oscilloscope back there.
I built this board. Look how many components are on this board, honestly.
His fingers hurt for weeks after that, folks.
Well, it wasn't so much my fingers hurt. It was more my lead poisoning from the solder.
Right.
So...
No, and I like doing this stuff too. I mean, it's actually really interesting to me to like put stuff together in different ways, and I try to do things that the manufacturer didn't want to do. Didn't make the product to do. Like I took the Retevis, the RT95, and I still am. It's currently in for repair because I broke it. Tried to get it to do APRS. It did do APRS, and then I tried to do it better, and I kind of messed up a little bit. But that's part of the game. So play with it. Have fun.
Craig's being too kind. It's not quite up to 25 gigs. I don't. I haven't gone that high. I've gone as high as 10, and I don't have a 10 gig transverter. I need to do that at some point. Here's another thing that I've got, which is not on Amazon Prime Day deal, but I got a DigiRig, which is still in the box.
Those are cool. It's still yeah. There's actually it's still the product is in the box. It's even smaller than that.
So yeah, DigiRigs are cool. But yeah, I think that's pretty much it. There's also some other random bits and pieces like, these BNC cables, antennas, mostly it's all sort of VHF, UHF stuff. But if you do find something, and it doesn't have to be ham radio related, it can just be literally anything if you're getting for Prime Day. We'd really appreciate it if you use our links because it helps support the channels a little bit, and like we said, apparently the price doesn't change for you, but as we ascertained tonight, it might possibly. So
right. So bring this link up that this guy's asking about, Chris, the Malahit ATU 100 antenna tuner. So this is an interesting thing. This is made by N7DDC and then has been cloned out by a lot of people. I can't speak to it until I see it in my hands because there is a bad interpretation of the design spec in the instructions, N7DDC says use these two diodes or those two diodes. And the way that the cloners read that was use one of these diodes and one of those diodes. So it's actually a complete mismatch from the factory. You can fix it, but you shouldn't have to. It should have been built properly in the first place. That's where the pain point comes in. So if you wanted to get one of these, let me see if I can find my link. There is a link to get the right one. Yep, here it is from New DIY Tech. And this is the ATU-10. I'll put it in the private chat for you, Hayden, so you can share it on the screen. So, I mean, for what was the price on there? $70? I'd rather get the
$74.
Yep. On Prime. So this one's $120. This is the ATU-10, though.
And you get it's slightly different, isn't it? Slightly different design. Oh, well, different model, isn't it?
And
this one's the legit
checking the
one.
specs. Yeah, this is the legit one. Checking the specs, because in the reason why there's an ATU-10, an ATU-40, an ATU-100, and ATU-500 is because in the firmware, it's not that the hardware doesn't support it most of the time. Yeah, this one says maximum input power is 15 watts. So this one will limit you down. But the ATU-100, you can update the firmware if you go get a microcontroller programmer, and you can tick the box that says, please start tuning at 10 watts of input power. I mean, they work, but, buyer beware.
Yeah. Yeah, you can see they've put his call sign on the front as well. So,
yeah,
which kind of makes it seem like he's selling it, which he's not selling it. So,
yeah. And then one of our Toads members, Jonathan, is actually working on making an Arduino-based tuner, and he's got a prototype in hand, but, with all the stuff that he's got going on in his life, he hasn't finished it yet, which is really neat.
Beef Carver, that exact brand I bought is no good. It doesn't tune unless you put at least 7 watts into it. If you put more than 8 watts into it, the MCU freezes up and the screen scrambles. So you've got a 1 watt window where it works and where it doesn't work. Yeah, sweet. Well, that's a problem. What about this one? Is this one?
It's the same thing.
So it's different. A different seller though, isn't it? Yeah.
Guzizu. Please just call us and ask us to create, Western names for these things.
Right.
I'll do it for 1% royalty on the sales.
All right. Well, I need to get to bed, and
you get to work,
and you need to get to work. So, hopefully you find a deal. If there's something that you find later on, put it in the comments below, and we'll add it to the list so that others can check it out. And again, links are in the description. Thanks, guys, for joining us today. It was good. Craig says, any good POTA coax deals? I wouldn't get any coax off of Amazon, to be quite honest, because it's going to vary of what you're going to get. I think that you're better off to get it from something reputable like ABR or Messi and Poloni.
In the U.S. is ABR Industries out of Texas, and in worldwide is Messi and Poloni.
Yeah,
because they're from Italy.
And they've got a new POTA coax, which is supposed to be what color is it?
POTAFlex. It's like yellow or something, or orange. It's bright,
so you don't trip over it, right? Or how other people don't trip over it.
So people don't step on it. Yeah. I don't care if they trip over it. I mean, that's their problem. But if they step on it, that's hurting things. Just don't destroy my cable.
Exactly. You don't want that. All right. Thanks, T.O. Thanks, everyone. And grab yourself a deal, and we'll see you soon. 73, guys.